this Florida Derby day, remember to sign up with DRF Bets.
Dan Illman, Mike Beer with what amounts to be a win, and you're in for the Kentucky Derby. Let's throw up the field for race number 5 at Meydan on Dubai World Cup Saturday. It's the Grade 2 UAE Derby. $750,000 is the purse. We're going about 1 mile and 3/16. The UAE Derby, not to be rude, it's been a lousy Derby prep over the years.
Yeah, listen, it's not easy, Dan, to ship halfway around the world to come run in the Kentucky Derby. Maybe somebody will try it if they get the points from this race. We'll see what happens.
2 North American-based horses will try their luck in the UAE Derby. The number 5 from post position 5, that is Lugamo, and the number 2 from post position 8, that is Ambivalent. We'll take the field, though, in post position order, beginning with the number 11, Spites per Comet, who is a son of Spitestown. This horse was second last time out, Mike, and I thought he ran pretty well. Maybe he lost a little bit of ground. He just seems like he's getting better with every start. He's also a maiden.
Yeah, I don't love that he still hasn't won a race, but you're right. He's actually run pretty well in each of his last 2 starts, and it feels like he is getting better. I mean, at the end of the day, Dan, the winner of the race last time ran well, but this horse carried all the ground in there, and he was still gaining ground at the end.
El Patriota, the number 1, breaks from post position 2, a Group 1 winner in Uruguay. This horse was an okay third, Mike, last time out in stakes action, going 1 mile and 3/16. It'll be his 3rd start of the Dubai Carnival. I think he has to take a slight step forward, but at a big price, he's usable.
Yeah, his races are pretty good. His dirt form overall is fine, and he's another one exiting that race last time. He was right there with the 1-2 finishes. He was able to save a little bit more ground early, but they took him wide on the turn. He raced on to the end.
Let's watch the UAE 2000 Guineas, the local prep, of course, for the UAE Derby. This race at 1 mile won by Muhib, who made it 2 for 3 in his career. He is a son of Flatter that sold for $400,000. And as we take a look at the tape, we see Muhib on the outside. He still has some work to do, Mike, but once he switches leads, he powers on home.
Yeah, this is a good finish for this horse. He had a lot of ground to make up in the last furlong or so, but he erases it all with a really good finish. Very lightly raced. He's run well in all 3 starts so far. There's plenty to like here.
Talented filly up next from post position 4. That's the number 13, Minasic, who is also 2 for 3 in her career. Let's take a look at the UAE Oaks. The first time they really stretched her out significantly in distance, she just blew this field away. She is in control turning into the stretch, and it is Goodnight Irene. She wins by almost 7. Now, she was beaten by Soft Whisper 2 back and beaten handily, but she didn't break that day.
Yeah, she drowned this field, Dan, and this was the first time that she actually got out of the gate with the field. She didn't break well first time out. It didn't matter. She crushed that field. She was very badly compromised 2 starts back when Soft Whisper beat her. I mean, she just totally blew the start in there, and she couldn't recover.
Here's Lugamo, the number 5, 3rd in the James F. Lewis Stakes at Laurel Park, going 6 furlongs. His final start is a 2-year-old, and he showed speed in this race. I would expect he's going to show speed as he stretches all the way out, but this is a big ask. Shipping halfway across the world, stretching out 3.5 furlongs off the layoff.
Yeah, there's just a lot working against him. And, there's nothing wrong with this horse. He's actually run pretty well every time they've sent him out there, but he does have to get a lot faster.
The horse that beat him's an okay Mid-Atlantic-based 3-year-old. He came back to win his 4th consecutive race after that, winning the heft with a 74 buyer. Panadol, the question is, how good is Panadol? He's 2 for 2 in his career, both this meet at Meydan. Let's watch his win in the Albastakia last time out on March the 6th, where he got just a very clever ride, where Mikhail Barzalona was able to clear to the lead in the rail from the far outside post, got a little bit of a breather on the backstretch, and now here comes Spites per Comet. Panadol just has enough.
Yeah, he's going to hold that horse off. You're right. He was able to back things down a little bit, Dan. I wanted to give him maybe a little extra credit because they really did have to use him in the first part of the race just to clear to the lead. Once he got there, he was able to get comfortable, but they had to use this horse a little bit early. I thought he ran well last time. I really liked his debut. He looks pretty good to me.
From Japan is the number 12, Takeru Pegasus. And the Japanese-based runners have done very well on dirt on Dubai World Cup night. They've done well in most of the races on Dubai World Cup night, and they've done well in the UAE Derby. Takeru Pegasus ran in a couple of legs of the Japan road to the Kentucky Derby without success, but took a lot of money in both those races based off of an impressive second out win against Meydans. He won by almost 10 that day.
Yeah, I guess it'll be interesting to see what he does, Dan. I mean, boy, they've really bet this horse over there, and he only has the one win to show for it. I got to believe that's a little disappointing, but obviously they like him.
Up next is the number 2, Ambivalent, who is grade 3 placed, on dirt in the United States. He was third in the Bob Hope. He actually finished ahead of Spielberg, who we'll see later on Saturday in the Florida Derby. He's had one turf race this year going 6 furlongs. He was a comfortable winner. It's a big ask, but again, this horse is likely going to show some speed stretching out.
Yeah, he probably will. He's not untalented. He just never really improved. It didn't seem like as a 2-year-old. He did take a step forward in his 3-year-old debut, Dan, but that was first-time Lasik sprinting on the grass. This is a totally different ballgame.
Up next is a very good filly, the 14 Soft Whisper, and maybe, just maybe, she didn't care too much for that racetrack at Saudi. She ran in the Saudi Derby against the boys, and she was far from disgraced. She was beaten less than 5 lengths, but she beat Monastic 2 starts back in the UAE 1,000 Guineas. She looked very good in doing it. I wonder about distance. She's certainly bred to run all day long. Let's see her do it.
Yeah, she's going to have to do it. And she's going to have to do it off of a disappointing effort last time, whether or not you thought she was going to beat the boys in the Saudi Derby. She just didn't run that well in there. And overall, Dan, that's not a race that I really care for. We'll see if any of these horses that are showing up here can rebound.
The Japanese horse that they're all going to have to fear, in my opinion, is the 4, Francisco Daina, a Will Take Charge colt, who's won his last 2 races, going 1 mile and 1/8. He's won them fairly easily. I would not be surprised at all if this horse goes favored in the UAE Derby. He's taking a lot of money overseas.
That's an interesting point. Obviously, his last 2 races are very good, so he's pretty hard to knock right now. We'll see what kind of price he is.
Rebels Romance won the UAE 2,000 Guineas trial. He made it 3 for 3 in his career with that victory. I thought he ran okay, Mike, when he was 4th in the Saudi Derby. He goes out for top connections. I think this horse is a sleeper candidate. Again, it's all about distance, but you look at this pedigree, you don't worry about it that much.
Yeah, you don't. And he has run well basically in all of his races. Again, I don't love the Saudi Derby. When I go back and watch that race, I just don't get a good feeling about any of those horses, but certainly this horse has talent.
Fire Group is a maiden, and he's been beaten by several of these horses already, so he's going to have to take a step up if he's going to upset this field. He's another runner by not this time.
Yeah, he's going to be a big price in this race as he looks for his first win.
New Treasure did quite all right in his dirt debut. The Saudi Derby was only beaten a length by Pink Kamehameha, and they were stretching him out from 6 to 1 mile, but this is another big stretch out now, 1 mile to 1 mile and 3/16. I want to see that last race again.
Yeah, I want to see it again from him and the winner of that race. They were both making their dirt debuts in there, and they both ran well. I got to believe it's going to be harder for them to win this race.
And as for Pink Kamehameha, I'm not sure they're thrilled with this far outside post position. He took everybody by surprise when he won the Saudi Derby. The horse has a little bit of dirt pedigree, to be sure, but boy, his races on turf were not much. He was ready to go on dirt in the Saudi Derby. Again, it's a situation we're going to have to stretch out.
He's going to have to stretch out. He's going to have to do it from, as you said, the tough outside post in here. But listen, I mean, he won the Saudi Derby, whether you like the race or not. He won it fair and square. He was on the outside the entire way, and he drove it down.
Top picks for the Grade 2 UAE Derby. You can go so many different ways. Mike's going with the filly that's figured out the starting gate, or so it appears, the number 13 Monastic, breaking from post 4.
Yeah, I want to give her a shot here, Dan. She did figure out the gate last time. I think she's run well in all 3 of her starts. She looks like she has a lot of ability. She's got a big pedigree. She's bred to stretch out. I like your horse too, but I'm going to try this filly.
It's really, to me, a question of how this pace is going to shake out for Panadol. If he can get comfortable early, either on the lead or sitting just off, and they're not going fast, he'll be in the thick of things, turning into the stretch. And I think he might be okay. He's very lightly raced. He might have another forward move. I'm going 8-7-11-6. Mike's going with the filly Monastic, 13-8-11-6. It's the Grade 2 UAE Derby. For all intents and purposes, it's a win and you're in for the Kentucky Derby. Good luck.